Welcome to T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball. Well, after a splendid Sunday, Rockies enjoyed a day off. Back at it tonight as they welcome in the Kansas City Royals, leading the American League Central. That's right, the Kansas City Royals. They've been the best team in the second half in all of baseball. They're in front of the Detroit Tigers by a couple of games. Rockies trying to upset their apple cart over the next couple of days. Beautiful evening, and we welcome you upstairs. Glad as always that you're along with my partner George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman, and we begin with good news. Corey Dickerson was named the National League Player of the Week. That's the fourth Rocky this year to win a Player of the Week award, and he was very deserving.
Oh, very much so. And I mean, Kadire yesterday did a nice little number on everybody too. With Kadire had his 7th cycle in Rockies history. Not in the lineup today, hamstring a little bit tightness, but what a week Corey's had. 393, 4 doubles, 11 RBIs, 3 home runs, and a well-deserved honor for Corey Dickerson to be able to give that out here at home plate tonight before tonight's ball game. You look at the numbers, first half, second half, pretty consistent with what he's accomplished so far on the baseball field for a young player to come up and do what he's done at this level. Yeah, you miss Cargo, but this guy's filled in very well.
He's done a terrific job. Justin Morneau missed the weekend with that chronic neck situation. Good news about him as well. He'll be in the lineup this evening, and he's very familiar with Kansas City Royal pitching through the years, and he's done very well against a lot of teams, but in particular Kansas City.
Well, he saw him a lot, being in the American League Central together, 5th highest among home run active players with 26 and 89 RBIs, and he's hit 253 against him in his career. Now, I know his career average a little bit higher, but Morneau has done a lot better job of swinging the bat and utilizing all parts of the field, either at home and on the road. Morneau is driving in an awful lot of runs, obviously, and I think other than the chronic neck injuries, the chronic things he's put up with this year, he's done a heck of a job playing first base and replacing a legend in Todd Helton.
Well, he's been great offensively, and he's been very good defensively as well. When we come back, more on the Kansas City Royals trying to end a long drought out of the postseason. That'll be next. The Royals earlier this season at Kauffman Stadium. Kansas City took both of those ball games. The Rockies will face a guy they saw in Kansas City, one of the top pitchers in the game in James Shields. More on Shields in a few moments, but let's talk about the Royals. It has been a long time. How long since they've been to the playoffs, you ask? 28 years. So long ago that Frazier was still playing. In fact, Frazier was in his
What's
prime.
What's that got to do with it? Yeah, you're right, though.
1985.
Yeah, well, they had some great players on that 85 ball club, and they had that run from about 80 to 88 where they were a really good baseball team, and now they feel like they have that really good baseball team again. And it all started after they went 0-4, and they didn't have a managers meeting. They had a players meeting, and it all started on July 21st. You look at the average, second. Runs per game, second. ERA, fifth. And then their bullpen is outstanding. 14 out of 16 opportunities for their bullpen. They got a bunch of hard throwers, and Shields is one of these guys that have led the way out of their rotation. 172 innings pitched on 26 starts. That should tell you something. He works deep into ball games and throws strikes, and oh, by the way, he does have a hit. He's hitting 400 on the year.
Well, he was one of their leaders as well. A lot of times you don't look at rotation members as that, but he is definitely one of their leaders. It was a great trade by Dayton Moore. They gave up Will Myers, one of the top prospects in the game, but James Shields takes the baseball every fifth day. By and large, he's going to give you 7-8 innings every time, and he's also a vocal leader in that clubhouse.
He is a vocal leader, and the other guy that came with him, Wade Davis, in that trade, is probably the #1 setup man in all of baseball, and hopefully you don't get to see him, and hope we don't get to see Holland in this ball game because they're really good.
Yeah, very often it's a 6 or 7 inning game if you're behind against Kansas City because of that bullpen late. So the Rockies trying to derail the Royals. It's Colorado, it's Kansas City. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Inova Cancer Care. Inova Cancer Care takes a novel approach to cancer care. Learn more about prostate cancer treatment at InovaCC.com. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Tyler Matzik on the hill for the Rockies this evening, as the Rockies will play a 2-game set against the Royals. They'll actually have another day off on Thursday, and then Giancarlo Stanton and the Miami Marlins will come to town. Rockies very familiar with Nori Aoki, of course, from his days with the Milwaukee Brewers. He has really hit left-handed pitching well this season. It's a very balanced offensive attack for Ned Yost, and here's their Southwest batting order. Omar Infante, the veteran who's been struggling with the bat, but he's a very good two-hole hitter typically. And then behind him, Salvador Perez. He's one of the better two-way catchers in the game. He's got power and he's extraordinary defensively. The veteran Billy Butler playing first base. Alex Gordon will bat fifth. In left field, Lorenzo Cain, Mike Moustakas, Alcides Escobar, also one of the better shortstops in the game. And big game, James Shields. Here's the Inova numbers on Tyler Matzik. Treat prostate cancer in only 5 sessions. Visit Inova.com.
Making his 13th start among National League rookies. That's 4th best. His last 3 starts has gotten roughed up. He's 0-3, 960. So gets a lot of that to change rather quickly here. For Tyler Matzik pitching at home, where he has pitched better than he has out on the road. The big thing has been his ability to throw strikes at the big league level. He's averaged 3.5 walks per 9 innings at the major league level. In his minor league career, he averaged 6. Harnessing the fastball.
The Rockies believe, and George, I think you concur, I concur with this, that in time he's going to be a very good major league pitcher. Part of the process is experience at the major league level and understanding what it takes to, you know, what you've learned, what you've worked on in the minor leagues is fine, but what it takes at this level to get guys out and to be consistent every 5th day.
Well, it takes a big difference. I mean, and it's a tough place to learn too at this level.
That's a fair ball, and McHenry is going to throw to first to Morneau, and he gets Aoki.
Fastball at 93 miles an hour.
Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Their alignment brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Dickerson, Stubbs, Blackman. Kadire was in the original lineup. Drew Stubbs was not. Nolan Arenado, Rutledge, LeMahieu, Morneau, Michael McHenry. As George mentioned in the open, it's nothing serious, just a little bit of hamstring tightness. Michael in his first game back was running all over the yard and played both games on Sunday. And naturally, Michael wanted to play, but they decided to hold him back. Inside on Infante, ball 1. Pulled hard past a diving Nolan Arenado. Rutledge trying to get to the ball quickly, and he won't be able to stop Infante from turning that into a double.
Able to handle so many hot shots. You see him make so many great plays. And this one would have been another one of those great plays by Nolan Arenado. If he would have been able to keep this ball out in front of him in the glove, it would have been an out. The ball was hit extremely hard. Nolan with the one-step quickness to the third base side. Right off of the thumb of the glove and scooted into the outfield. That ball was scalded.
So Infante at second and Salvador Perez at the plate. Last night, the Royals were playing. They were up at Target Field in Minneapolis, one of your old clubs, George, and they won 6-4 against the Twins. They took 3 of 4 against the Twinkies. Salvador Perez got the scoring going for Kansas City with a 2-run single in the 5th inning, and then he had to leave the game. He had a right knee issue, so it was kind of a surprise when we got to the ballpark and we saw him in the lineup today. His the guy who went in for him, remember Phillies Eric Kratz? Kratz came in for him, pinch hit for him in fact, and hit a home run, stayed in the ball game, and then he hit another home run. That's how Kansas City's going right now.
Yeah, right now everything's running good for them. Kratz came forward from Philadelphia. This just a wall climber, got out of the ballpark and then dead center and took another one out, but they couldn't bring back another one.
The one that crawled over the wall, as George described, he actually broke his bat on that one. This ball on the ground to second. DJ LeMahieu back in the lineup after missing the last couple of days with an ankle turn. And there's 2 outs. Runner at third for Billy Butler. I don't know, as you look at Ned Yost, if there's a guy enjoying this run of success any more than Billy Butler, who for a decade has kind of been the foundation of the offense for the Royals, mostly as a DH. He's put up really solid numbers in his career, and yet he hasn't seen a whole lot of W's.
No, he hasn't, and he's been on a lot of losing situations, but a lot of these young players on this ball club that have come through the organization eventually are starting to see the results here. They've teased themselves the last couple of years, and finally this year it's all fallen into place so far.
This guy's always been a tough out. First pitch over at 94 for a strike on Butler, the barrel-chested first baseman for the Royals. He typically is DH. Eric Hosmer's played first, but Hosmer has a broken hand. So Butler's been playing out there, and he told me earlier that it's kind of neat getting off the stationary bike, George, between innings and actually being involved.
That's what a lot of DHs do. They go up and ride that bike. That's not the same thing as sitting out there catching ground balls, plays over at first, hitting cutoffs, those kind of things. Make you feel more of a complete player and part of the game.
Those with the club have told us he's really played a very good first base. 0-2. Hard shot. This one's gloved by Arenado. Now the easy part. Well done. Nolan takes a base hit away from Billy Butler, and Matzik strands Omar Infante at third base. Rockies coming off that doubleheader sweep of Cincinnati on Sunday. In fact, they took 3 of 4 from the Reds. Charlie Blackmon's going to lead things off. He'll come in with 284 batting average, 15 home runs. He's knocked in at 59. The rest of Walt Weiser's lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Drew Stubbs hitting exceptionally well at home, 2 at 94 overall. Morneau, Arenado, Corey Dickerson, reigning player of the week now. Got a 12-game hitting streak. Michael McHenry, Josh Rutledge, DJ LeMahieu, and Tyler Matzik against one of the most durable pitchers in the game, George, James Shields.
Well, think about this. Since 2007, third most innings thrown in the big leagues. And there's not a lot of separation from King Felix up in Seattle. 1,734 and 2/3 innings. Charlie with a leadoff single. Verlander, then Shields with 1,731.
The Rockies faced Shields in Kansas City earlier this year. Shields went 7 innings, allowed just 1 run in victory. More numbers on Shields brought to you by Inova Cancer Care. Treat prostate cancer in only 5 sessions. Visit InovaCC.com.
He doesn't walk people. 35 walks in 172 and a third innings. That's impressive. 174 hits given up, 137 strikeouts. 3-0 against the National League this year, 14-9 in his career.
Now, the Royals, Georgie, are great against the National League this year. Best they've ever done in interleague play. They're 14-4. That's going to go off the second baseman Infante. Blackmon headed to third. Aoki's throw is not going to get him. First and third as that ball was scalded by Drew Stubbs. Rocky trying to pick up where they left off on Sunday.
Well, Rocket hit right at the second baseman. Infante not going to be able to pick this off the glove. Tried to turn sideways. Charlie gave one peek over the shoulder. You can see it on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, just trying to do a clean pick to hold it up. Charlie looking back over the shoulder, made the decision to scoot on in. A base hit for Stubbs.
Well, the Rockies in business very quickly. 3 pitches in against James Shields and Justin Morneau up.
Now the right guy up right now, and if you start to dissect the type of year that he has had among National League first base, against National League ranks, his runners in scoring position, 343 average first, on the road 319 fourth, home 327 sixth, night average 326 as second. Against right-handers, he leads the National League 351.
Everything you said there had a 3 in front of it,
and it all had a first or second rank in front of behind it. That was the best part about it.
Justin with a 10-game hitting streak. Here's some more numbers for you. Leading now the National League in hitting at 323. And Morneau, did you mention this? You threw so many numbers out there, George. I don't want to repeat it, but Morneau is hitting 341 with 4 home runs lifetime against Shields.
I did not throw that one, and that's the most important right now. Trying to elevate a fastball up in the zone.
0-2. 1-2. Blackman a leadoff single, and Stubbs a rocket base hit off of Infante. And this is a ground ball to short. It's going to be a double play, but the Rockies will get a run. So no ribby for Morneau. Rockies take a 1-0 lead. The Rockies 21-5 this year when they score first at home. Nolan Arenado will be coming up as we take a look at the Excel Energy defensive alignment for Kansas City. They're very good defensively. Alex Gordon's won multiple Gold Gloves in left field. Lorenzo Cain can go get him in center. Nori Aoki is just okay in right field. Mustak is very good at third. Escobar outstanding at shortstop. Infante, Billy Butler, and Salvador Perez, a Gold Glover behind the plate.
The way that inning started, you thought the Rockies might be able to mount pretty good. They had the right guy at the plate too, with Morneau, unfortunately, right at the shortstop.
But it's also one of the reasons James Shields is 11-6 and has won all the games he's won, because the good ones, George, you've said this for years, they minimize damage.
And he does a very good job of minimizing damage. And if you look over at everything that he's put on, he has put on 209 men on base. Only 63 have scored. He has really controlled traffic when he's had to deal with it.
Seems to be a common theme with the guys who win a lot.
You're not going to strike everybody out.
Arenado pops his foul and out of play. See those two guys? They look like they were getting along famously. The Kadire fan and the George Brett fan.
Yeah, well, they are two fans of two really good players. Really good players. You mentioned that '85 team, the lineup they had that year. So much was said about Brett. Don't forget about Hal McRae as a DH. That wasn't any fun either.
This is up the middle and a base hit for Nolan. Third hit in the inning against James Shields, and that'll bring up the hit machine, Corey Dickerson. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Obviously don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night, but there's a bounce in the step that the Rockies have had since the Todd Helton ceremony and what they accomplished on Sunday, and hopefully they're able to keep that going. They've played with a greater, seemingly greater sense of urgency and energy the last couple of days.
Happy to be on the field. Happy to be playing. When you win two like that, one's a walk-off, you come from behind and have a walk-off against a very good closer in Chapman, the way they did. The home run by Stubbs, and then you come back and win the night game too. Those are huge wins. I know when you're having a bad season, anything's good at this point.
It all started with the retirement of 1-7. 1-0 on Corey. Well, here's why he was the National League Player of the Week, George. He hit almost 400 during the week, and he had 4 doubles. He had 3 home runs. He drove in 11.
Well, it's not just this last week. His 17 RBIs right now also lead the National League for most RBIs in the month of August. So he's been hot for a while. They just finally recognized it this last week.
Good swing there by Corey. The three other Rockies to win National League Player of the Week all came pretty early on. Charlie Blackmon won the first week of the season, or was the second week of the season. Justin Morneau won on April 21st, and Troy Tulowitzki won on May the 5th. I mean, the Rockies were 8 games over 500. They were among the teams most frequently talked about in the opening 5 or 6 weeks of the season. And the strikeout at Dickerson ends the inning. The Rockies do come up with a run. They had 3 hits in the frame. 1-0 they lead as we go to the second. Frazier, Mark Stout, and Jenny Kavnar. Brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. That's the defensive alignment for the Rockies that we showed you a few minutes ago. And we have to tell you the Toyota Talk's coming up in the 5th inning. And here's what you do. Tweet your questions using the hashtag Toyota Talk. It's easy as that. And we'll get to hopefully a bunch of questions in that 5th inning. Alex Gordon will lead things off against Tyler Matzik in the second.
Yeah, left-handers have only hit .237 and only 1 home run given up by Matzik to a left-hander. Hope that continues.
Solid numbers for Gordon. He was originally the 2nd pick of the draft in 2005 out of Nebraska. And that was a heck of a draft. The Rockies got a guy they really like in that draft. The second, as Troy Tulowitzki was in that draft. Ryan Braun was in that draft. One out.
Impressive to me. Alex Gordon out in the outfield today at 4 o'clock, running sprints before everybody even started to hit or get on the field. Lorenzo Cain hitting new .297 on the season. 3 home runs, 39 RBIs.
He had a 2-run home run against the Rockies in Kansas City. Couldn't hold up. 1-1. Some of the other guys, George, in that draft. Justin Upton went #1 of the Diamondbacks in 05. That turned out pretty well. He's been a good player. Alex Gordon, Jeff Clement to Seattle. That one didn't work out. Ryan Zimmerman to the Nationals. Ryan Braun to the Brewers. Ricardo Romero out of Cal State Fullerton, Ricky Romero. And, Ricky's had a solid career. Here's the 1-2. Bounce foul. Tulowitzki went 7th out of Long Beach. Wade Townsend. Michael Pelfrey went 9th to the Mets. Cameron Maben went 10th to the Tigers. Other guys in that draft. Chris Volstead, who's now pitching overseas.
Actually, he's back. He got released over there, and he's back pitching for the Angels in AAA.
Okay, he was briefly with the Rockies. He went 16th in that draft. John Mayberry went 19th. Two gone. Mike Moustakas coming up. It's another guy that was a very high pick, but he hasn't figured it out yet, George, offensively.
Just looking up Chris Volsted's numbers for you, Drew. Since he came back over and started pitching, because you know they needed a lot of different stats or different starters. They're trying to, and that's who Volsted actually signed with in the offseason. Before he came back, he's 2-1, 545, and 6 starts with Salt Lake City. Originally gone over to Korea to start the year.
Ground ball toward the middle, diving attempt by LeMahieu, and it's going to get through on a broken bat single. So you can hear some of the Royals fans that are in the house.
Quite a few on a Tuesday night.
Moose.
Yeah, quite a few on Tuesday night. Moustakas is going to take this pitch away from him, back up the middle. Typically a pretty dead pull hitter. He's able to take this ball right back up the middle, out of the reach of DJ LeMahieu into the outfield.
So Alcides Escobar at the plate. This kid has started all 124 games for the Royals this year. Looking at their schedule, George, they have 38 games remaining, and they've navigated the worst part of their schedule. They have 6 more with Detroit. 24 of their 38 games that are left are against teams that are at 500 or below right now.
Well, it's some of the teams that do bother you when you go in to play them. The White Sox, the last 4 ball games, just because they can really swing the bat. They haven't pitched particularly well, and you're going to get Sale for one of those games. Probably Quintana for another, but they haven't pitched that well. You have 4 against them, and you have 3 against Cleveland. All 7 games on the road to close out the season.
They've made up 10 games during this 21-5 run. 10 games in the standings on Detroit. The Tigers have been below 500 during this same period. It's line foul. Look out. They could always pitch, and what's happened is the last month or so they've really started to swing the bat.
They're buying into what Dale Swayman has tried to come with the hitting side of it. It's not about numbers, it's not about percentages, it's not 65% fastball, 30% breaking ball when you're starting to break down the opposing pitcher. It's about video, watching what he does against right-handed pitchers. Nice play by Rupp in the inning, cleaned it up for Matzik.
Nice job by Tyler. 1 man left, 1-0 Colorado, middle of 2.
He's up 1-0, and Drew and George were talking about the Kansas City Royals, one of the hottest teams in baseball. They are leading the AL Central. So much so, how hot are they? USA Today with a feature story today on the Royals and their manager Ned Yost. And we'll show you the standings. They have taken over the Central from the Tigers, leading them by 2 games coming into play today with that 69-55 record. Guys, today is Ned Yost's 60th birthday. And I know he was drafted by the Mets, but he may have crossed paths with you, George, in Milwaukee, or else you missed each other by a year or so. Did you play with him in the Brewer system?
I think we did down in the minor league system at 76. He's a little bit young. Well, they're the same age. I should say he's a little bit older than me, 60. By 2 months.
Thought you might know him.
A month and a half older. Oh, I'm very good friends with Ned. And Ned was a very good catcher in his system. And a lot of what he brings to the table, he is old school. Very much old school. That is Bobby Cox. You're looking at a young Bobby Cox.
He said he learned a lot, Mark, thank you, from the failures, if you will, with Milwaukee when they were real close in 07 and 08. He actually got fired. You talk about unusual. This ball's well hit by McHenry to left center field, but it's going to hang up for Gordon to track it down.
Well,
there were 12 games to go, George, in 08. They're very much in it, the Brewers, and he got fired.
And they did get in it after he got fired.
They went 7-5. The next 12, they got in it. And he says more than anything, what he learned is you can't fix everything every day. You just got to trust your guys. Let them know that you trust them, and let them go.
You know, the late great Johnny Oates, a very good friend of mine, said the hardest thing you had to learn as a manager, and he managed it a couple of places, Baltimore, Texas. Go enjoy the win. Worry about tomorrow when it gets here. And I think with a lot of managers feel that pressure of trying to get a team into the playoffs from ownership, from fans, from the media, that you're worried you can't really enjoy that win that night. You're worried about tomorrow's starter, who you're going to put in the lineup, who you're facing that next day. How are we going to beat him? What can I do to beat him? You know, and you try to change your team at times and maybe hit and run when you shouldn't hit and run, or bunt when you shouldn't bunt. You overmanage basically instead of just letting them be players.
0-2 on Rutledge. It's fouled off.
But Ned started out as a bullpen coach for Bobby Cox. Then he moved to third. Then he moved to the dugout, and you know, spending that time there. Tampa up on Detroit 4-3. The Oakland A's surprisingly are in second place now behind the Angels. They have played some pretty good baseball.
The Angels have been terrific. That ball game, by the way, that we just showed you was 4-0 Tampa Bay. So Detroit has tightened that up considerably. 1-2 on Rutledge outside.
And it's really not that time. I mean, you're hanging neck and neck with the new playoff systems and the wild cards and all those kind of things. Come September 1st, you really start watching that thing in right field. You're watching the auxiliary scores if you're sitting in the dugout. But it's a lot of fun for these Royals right now because they haven't been here in so long.
No, this is looped into right center. It's a base hit for Rutledge. So Rockies' 4th hit. So good speed aboard as DJ LeMahieu will come up. Be a hit and run opportunity here. Walt likes that play a lot. Hey, the Subaru Manager's Challenge is brought to you each night by Subaru. If there's a questionable call, instant replay will be used. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Ed's always been kind of a stoic guy when he takes to that front step, first step, if you will, of the dugout. DJ back after an ankle injury. He got a hard slide while he was turning 2, and his ankle got rolled up on. 1 strike count on LeMahieu with Rutledge at first. I couldn't believe this the other day, George. Rutledge stole second base. It was his first bag of the year.
Yeah, he'd been thrown out 2 times. He had not been successful. Of course, hadn't ran an awful lot on the season either, which is somewhat surprising with his speed.
Now, this is really a hit and run count here. It's 0-1, so don't expect to see anything on that pitch. And now it's 1-1. Shields is a strike thrower. He's going to be around the plate. which is something else a manager, as you know, George, factors in when they want to put on a play like a hit and run.
Absolutely, no question about it. Guys that can handle things, do things with it, and this is a guy that does. I mean, how many other guys hit eighth and have 30 RBIs? You know, I think back, and I'm going back a long ways. Butch Hobson drove in 110 for Boston, hitting ninth.
This ball lined to right's got to get down. Aoki diving catch to steal a hit from DJ LeMahieu. It's a terrific play out there by Nori Aoki. Well, it's always risky when you dive going forward, because if this ball gets by you, it's a triple.
Well, there's no help behind you. Center field's so far away that if it does get by you, then you are running more than likely for an inside the park home run, because it is so shallow on the line, sinking liner. If it gets by you, it's over.
2 outs. Matzik at the plate. Ball one. Home plate umpire is Mark Carlson. We haven't ID'd Mark yet. Jeff Nelson is the crew chief. Jeff is at first. Scott Barry is at second, and Laz Diaz is at third. Seasoned crew.
I think you see more of that when a first place team is playing games. Teams that are close, they're not going to send in a vacation crew or one veteran with 3 vacationing umpires.
Rockies up 1-0 as they bat in the second. The Royals have won 8 consecutive series, and they've beaten some good clubs. They swept the Giants. They've taken 2 series from the A's. This is their best stretch of baseball since '91. That's strike 3, and that ends the inning. So Matzik is the second strikeout of James Shields. The Rockies had a hit from Rutledge. He's left the board. Colorado 1, Kansas City 0. Brought to you by the Ford Super Duty. Built better, built stronger, built Ford tough. By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by University of Colorado Health. Great early evening along the Front Range. Beautiful mile-high city. We're all fortunate to call this state home. 1-0 the Rockies leading. James Shields will lead it off for the Royals. Now, a big game. James likes to swing the bat, George.
You think?
Well, I mean, he's only had 5 ABs this year, 2 for 5, but
no, he can't swing it.
Yeah. He's taking some big hacks during BP. Ground ball to short, 1 out.
I love it when an American League team comes here in interleague play and you're able to watch batting practice. Because you're in Colorado, it's like all the people that come here to play golf, they can't wait to see how far they can hit it. They think they're going to hit it so much farther, and they do. And I was watching these guys, and Perez hit 6 on the concourse. You know, the left-handed bats are hitting them up on and trying to hit it into the 3rd deck, and it's like there's a contest down here. And I finally see Ned look at Dale, and they just shake their heads like, stop. You know, you're not going to do this against live pitching in a major league game. So, you know, but every team that comes in here that doesn't get to play very often, it's like that's their main goal. Let's see if we can run out of baseballs before batting practice is over.
And especially, again, the teams that don't get here very much. I'll tell you one, you know, we always enjoyed the interleague play, George, and I know there's people who don't like it, some old school folks. That's fine. I get that.
That hurt.
But there's some teams, it seems like the Rockies have played a bunch. The Detroit Tigers, they've played Detroit a bunch lately. And then there's some teams, it's like, when was the last time you've seen them on the road? Like Tampa. The Rockies have not been to Tampa, I think, since 2002, somewhere around there.
And I hope it's another 10 before they
go
back.
I wasn't big on the Trop, but this is punched to 3rd. And Aoki's thrown out by Arenado, 2 outs. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of the Trop, but I am a fan of Joe Madden and how the Rays play baseball.
No question. And how could you not be? And everybody had written them off for not too long ago. And they're 10.5 back right now, but they're 2 games under 500.
He's your old teammate on the Boulder
Collegians, baby. That's right. Ed Lynch is here, the former general manager of the Chicago Cubs, now working for Toronto as a scout. He was on that ball club also.
Was he on that? I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Big Ed Lynch.
Joe Madden was your catcher?
Bobby Pate was in right field. Played in Tony Phillips. Was it Tony Phillips? I'm trying to remember. We had a second baseman. He was a pretty good second baseman. Played in the big leagues. I'd have to get the roster out and look at it.
Omar.
I just know I had one of my best pitching coaches I ever had, and that was in Bus Campbell. By far.
Yep. A lot of people have said that, including Doc Holliday.
Roy loved him. Would fly in between starts at times.
2-0 on Infante. That's a strike. 2004, actually, the last time the Rockies were down in Tampa. The only time they were in Tampa.
I can't imagine the travel playing in Miami, Tampa, or Seattle.
Seattle in particular.
Tampa and Miami and any closer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still traveling.
The reason I say that, this ball's bounced to 3rd, tough pickup. The reason I say that is Seattle, the closest team to them is Oakland, and that's well over 2 hours away in the air. At least if you're in Miami, Atlanta's not that far, Washington not bad. 1-0 Rockies. Colorado over Kansas City as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Drew Stubbs is going to be involved here in this inning after Charlie Blackmon hits. How about our Mako big hit of the week? Talk about clutch. 3-run walk-off against your former club. First Rocky ever to do that against his former club. Well, Mako's there for you in the clutch, the body shop that you can turn to. Visit Mako.com to find a center near you. Charlie 1 for 1, a single over Escobar's head. He pulls this down the line, but it's got a hook in it. 1 ball, 1 strike on Blackmon. Charlie went 1 for 7 on Sunday. The one was a home run, though. Hit 290 against right-handed pitching. Leads baseball with 56 of his 59 ribbies coming as a leadoff hitter. Moved around a little bit earlier in the year, but he's last few months exclusively been a leadoff hitter. Lorenzo Cain will make the catch. 1 out. And here comes Drew Stubbs. Drew had a single also in that first inning. Stubbs hitting .370 against the American League this year. He was in the American League last year with Cleveland. He's got 3 home runs. 13 interleague games this season. On the inside corner for a strike.
Well, it's so much better for a position guy in the American League and for relief pitchers, and it's obviously reason you have the DH. You can put 9 hitters in the lineup. There's a good line.
And you know what? This is going to run toward the wall. Gordon will cut it off, and it'll be an easy double for Stubbs. If he doesn't get to that baseball, that's an easy triple for Drew. 18 doubles for Drew Stubbs, one of the leading hitters at home in baseball this year.
And an outside fastball at 93 miles an hour, whistled by the shortstop Escobar in the left center field, and Kakis got there quick enough to get it back in and prevent the advancement to third.
So here's Morneau. Another opportunity to drive in a run. He didn't get a ribby his first time up. He grounded into a double play. And Blackmon scored. Great numbers against Shields for Morneau. And this is looped to shallow center field, but Cain will get there. Blackmon goes back to second. Excuse me, Stubbs goes back to second. And that'll bring up Arenado. He had a base hit through the middle of the diamond back in the first. 2 outs tacos. Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, we hope you took advantage yesterday. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6. And get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. At second base, Infante is playing almost right up the middle.
Well, they have spray charts that they look at, try to make decisions, and you try to pitch to the defense, and particularly when you have a veteran guy that doesn't miss spots, you can pitch to it and play to it a little bit easier. Nola just beat the defense at first at bat, took it right up the middle. Take a look at his spray chart. It's pretty even, but he's going to pull the ball to the left side of the field and up the middle more than anywhere else.
In his last 13 games, he's hitting .394. Got a 2-0 count to work with here. Stubbs at second with 2 outs. It's in tight. Got Dickerson on deck. That misses, so it's a walk on 4 pitches to Nolan. Now, you may recall that on Sunday in Game 1, Arenado went 4 for 4 with a walk on base 5 times. Michael McHenry, who was hitting behind him that day, went 1 for 1 and 4 walks. McHenry coming out on deck. Dickerson hitting with 2 men on and 2 outs.
First time up on a 2-2 count. He got a changeup that he swung and missed for strike 3. Put that into the memory bank.
Strike 1 on Corey. The Hyundai League leaders are brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai leaders. RBIs in the month of August. Corey Dickerson leading the parade. Guy we'll see next weekend. Giancarlo Stanton next, and Ryan Howard, Jay Bruce, Mark Trumbo of Arizona. Dickerson drives one to center field. Kane will move back and make the catch. In the inning, there was a double by Stubbs, a walk to Arenado, 2 left on. Rockies leading 1-0. On a pretty Coors Field evening. Time for the Steel T Heating and Air Cool Stat. Never a trip charge for a repair. $69 value. Steel T. The T stands for trust. Go to steelt.com. Check this out. Longest active playoff droughts in each of the 4 major sports. 28 years the Royals have gone without a postseason game. It was Game 7 of the '85 I-70 series between Kansas City and St. Louis. The Bills in the NFL, 14 years. The T-Wolves, it's been 10 years. Last time they were in the playoffs when they knocked the Nuggets out of the playoffs, Carmelo's rookie year. Edmonton has gone 8 seasons in the NHL. Think back to the heyday of the Avalanche, and they were always battling Edmonton out west when Edmonton was led by Dougie Weight. This is fouled off down the right field line a long way, but out of play for big Salvador Perez. Managers are funny sometimes because there were a number of questions at Ned Yost about Perez being taken out of the ball game yesterday with a knee ailment, and yet back in the lineup today, and he pops this up. DJ's going to have to play. And somebody asked him, hey, which knee is it? Because he had knee surgery a little more than a year ago. And Ned said, I don't know, I don't ask. I just know he has a knee.
Hey, can you play or can you not play?
Yep.
That's all he cares about.
Matzik, excuse me, for the 4th straight inning, has the leadoff man out. And here's Billy Butler. He had a sharp ground ball to Arenado to end the 1st inning with Infante at 3rd.
And that's part of the key to shutting down this offense, because they do have speed that can steal a lot of bases.
Well, you know, George, when you talk about the upper echelon teams in Major League Baseball here in the 3rd week of August, the Royals are certainly one of those teams. They're 14 games above 500. They're leading the American League Central. Most often those teams are led by at least one big name, somebody having an outstanding year, maybe a couple of somebodies. Not in the case of the Royals. It's just pretty much balanced up and down that lineup.
Well, offensively, yes, but they do have guys out of that bullpen, guys saving ball games with Holland, saving as many games as he had. Shields with 11 wins. But the offense, yeah, I mean, you look at it, there's so many guys that are equal to the task so far.
And that's a walk to Butler. They have 8 guys that have 100 or more hits, which is puts them in a very small class in Major League Baseball.
We'll take a behind-scenes tour of Coors Field's group and individual tickets available year-round by calling 303 Rockies.
Well, I hope players do scoreboard watching when it is August 19th, because it's a tight race in the Central, and Tampa had a 4-0 lead, and now Detroit has tied them up. That will not be lost upon that Kansas City dugout, since they're staring right at the auxiliary scoreboard. Alex Gordon, a ground ball to second, his first time. Here's the 0-1 from Matzik. Good pitch. 0-2. You're talking about that 05 draft class, George. And in addition, I forgot to mention a couple of really good players. Andrew McCutchen was drafted 11th that year out of Fort Meade High School in Florida. He's turned out pretty well. Jay Bruce went 12th to the Reds. He's had a fine career.
So you're just saying there was a lot of smart scouting directors
Jacoby
that year.
Jacoby Ellsbury was in that draft. One-two, got him on a slider. Good looking pitch for out number 2. That's the second strikeout for Tyler Matzik.
And this is where he's working his way through a game with traffic. With traffic on the bases this year, the opposition's hit 342. Tonight, that hasn't been the case. Good hard slider, big bend, downward plane on the baseball, and swing and miss.
Now Lorenzo Cain. Kind of splits time with Jared Dyson in center field.
You know, Dyson's got an awful lot of speed too.
This is toward the gap in right center field. Stubbs not going to be able to cut it off. Butler does not run great. He's going to get a green light. Rockies may have a play on him at the plate. It is up the line a little bit. Butler scores to tie up the game, despite a good effort by McHenry. Butler's out of gas, but it is now a 1-1 ball game. Going to third is Cain.
40 RBIs for Cain now in the season after this hard hit ball into right center. Nice effort by Michael McHenry to try to reach back and get the tag. The throw from DJ LeMahieu, because in this situation you don't have very much time to grab the ball and keep a back rotation on the ball. DJ tried to get there as quick as he could to make a strong throw. Unfortunately, it tailed up the line and Butler was safe. Butler hadn't done this very often. I actually think McHenry may have touched him and the ball came out upon the tag. Maybe right before that, but I think McHenry did touch him.
See if he. Oh, the ball's already coming out. You know what?
Coming out. He
did touch him. Wow.
Yeah, could have hung on to the baseball there. The ball just squirted out the bottom half of the glove.
2-0 on Moustakas. 2-1. Remember, we arrived at Kansas City. Moustakas was off to just a horrendous start, and it hasn't gotten much better. I mean, folks, he's hitting 198. He had a base hit his first time up to move it to 201, but 198 coming in. But he threw out like 3 doubles in that series against the Rockies. It's 3-1. Moustakas went 3 for 17 in the Twin series. Ground ball to first. Good pickup by Morneau. And that'll end the inning. Butler walked, and he would score on a double by Lorenzo Cain to tie up the ball game in the 4th.
In a 1-1 game, I want to show you the special guest that was here for BP today. Jack White, Dominic's bass player, a couple other guys from Jack White's entourage. He'll be playing Red Rocks coming up tomorrow night. So Jack White got the shag flies, take some BP, and pretty much this is a dream for him. He goes to a lot of ballparks on his tour, and Coors Field fit the list.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so nice that everyone's been so kind to and let us do that. I humbly thank them. From the bottom of my heart, it's amazing. We were just lucky enough to do that with the Tigers at Yankee Stadium, and this is incredible to come here. We're playing at Red Rocks Theater while we're here, so if this is our day off, we're not doing so bad.
Jack White is from Detroit. He is a giant baseball fan. In fact, he donated $170,000 to renovate a field that he played on in Southwest Detroit called Clark Field. He played as a kid, loves baseball, guys, and as I said, they kind of set their tour so they can go to major league stadiums and minor league stadiums, and he'll be playing Red Rocks. But a good day for Jack White.
I guess so. You get to take a little big league BP. Steven Tyler wasn't here earlier, was he, Mark? Mark, check on out.
Knights. See his New York Knights jersey from the natural.
Nice rifle to the corner. Mark, hang on 1 second. Michael McHenry's going to have a double. I asked you, Mark, you must not have heard me. I said Steven Tyler didn't get to take any BP today, did he?
Nah, I didn't see anybody from Aerosmith here. I know they're playing tonight. So they didn't make it here, but that would have been cool. Told you he was a big baseball fan, wearing a New York Knights jersey from The Natural. Robert Redford.
That was a good club, the New York Knights.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to Jack, too. He also owns the only World Series ring from 1918. That, of course, was the White Sox scandal. The Reds technically won. That was thrown. He found that ring and bid on it, and he owns it. That's a piece of baseball memorabilia that he's very proud of.
You know, he's a huge collector, Mark, on different items throughout. I actually watched a segment of him on American Pickers buying these things from the guys on American Pickers. He actually traded a photo booth for some other stuff that he wanted, but a very big collector.
He's an eccentric guy, but he loves this game.
That's a foul ball. Henry will go back. Rutledge will continue at the plate. 1 strike count on Josh. Leadoff double by McHenry. In a 1-1 game, the Rockies have out-hit the Royals 6-3 as they bat here at the bottom of the 4th. Rutledge trying to extract himself from a 1-for-30 slump. Communication between Shields and Escobar was off. Escobar ran the daylight play, and it was one look and go from Shields, and his shortstop was standing at second base when that pitch was delivered.
But when it's daylight, it's just what you just said it is. As a pitcher, you look back, and if he's not showing daylight, then yeah, you're going to go. It's his responsibility to get back. That's what it calls. It's not a fixed play where you're going to make that pick.
Ned Yost was singing the praises earlier this afternoon of his veteran players, led by James Shields, Billy Butler, and the recently acquired Josh Willingham. That pitch is high, 1-2. And Willingham, since coming down from Minnesota, he'd been struggling with the bat up in Minneapolis, but he's gone 8 for 24, including a home run. Had a big game yesterday against his old club with 3 hits.
Very good compliment at the DH. Can go play in the field.
It's a big bat coming off their bench if they need one. Swung on and missed. Rutledge strikes out. That's the first out. Josh unable to move McHenry, and that'll bring up LeMahieu. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC.
The interleague play this year, you look at the averages, see what guys have done well against the American League, and LeMahieu's right there at 391. 6th. J.J. Hardy led it all at 431.
One ball, 1 strike on DJ. And a ground ball right to the shortstop, Escobar. 2 outs.
Hey, that's what the good ones do. You get a runner in scoring position, they make a couple of pitches to get themselves to 2 outs, and knowing where you are in the lineup. Well, and you have a pitcher coming up. All right, you get the punch out. You went from 90-91 to 94 to get the strikeout on Rutledge, then make a nasty pitch on DJ to work yourself around that traffic.
Yeah, and not to pick on Rutledge, but that's the key at bat in the sequence, in that it's a strikeout if the ball is in play right side, or gets the bunt down, which he attempted on the first pitch. Anything to move McHenry to third. DJ's ground ball right there unless they brought the infield in, would have scored the run.
But he's wore out the strike zone. He's in the 4th inning. He's thrown 17 balls.
Yeah. He's doing what he always does.
Yep.
Strike on Matzik. 2 strikes on Matzik. Last 8 starts for James Shields. He has an ERA of 1.94. The opposition's hit just 2.23 against him. Ooh, this is going to be a problem. Be a big problem. Matzik with a little squib up the third base line. An infield hit, and that will allow Blackman to take his turn with runners at first and third in the 4th.
Check swing on a curveball. Works every time. Everybody's playing deep. Nobody's playing up. Just kind of check slap at that thing, and it stays in fair territory and hugs the grass. There's nothing he can do with it but pick it up and hand it to Shields.
Blackman, a base hit and a fly ball to center field. Ball 1 on Charlie. Way inside. 1-1.
Get your tickets now for this weekend. Catch the Rockies and Marlins. Call 303 Rockies or go to Rockies.com/tickets. Got a pretty good ball club coming in here, playing much better than they have in the past. Miami right now at 500, 62 at 62, 8.5 back. It's worth the price of admission to watch Stanton play the game.
Telling somebody else that today. I said, you got to come out and watch this guy.
Charlie 301 with runners in scoring position this year.
1-2.
Shields 15 of 19 first pitch strikes.
Got him. That's going to load up the bases for Stubbs, who's 2 for 2 tonight against Shields.
Well, they wore him out away, and Charlie got that base hit away, so they're trying to run this fastball up and in on Charlie. Just caught the back of the arm and the jersey to load it up for Stubbs.
Drew a base hit off of Infante in the first, the second baseman. He had a one-hop smash at him, and then he doubled to the gap in left center field. So he has barreled the ball twice against James Shields. Bases loaded.
Stubbs with a couple of home runs, 250 with runners in scoring position. 5 for 15 against Shields with the bases loaded this year, so he's had some difficulty. The opposition's hit 333 against him when he has ducks on the pond.
Goes breaking ball, and it's 1-1.
That was a bad cutter. Backed up at a good hitting speed at 84.
One.
85-mile-an-hour changeup And it's all about the body language delivering the pitch. I mean, you think with that head at the very end of that, the way it came through the zone, you think he's throwing that 120 miles an hour. And it was 85. Great deception off the changeup. Try to go back to it, doesn't happen.
2-2. McHenry at third. He doubled leading off the inning. Matzik an infield hit. He's at second, and Blackman was just plunked. Two. Swung on and missed. Fields strikes out Stubbs on a cutter to end the inning. The Rockies leave him loaded. We'll go to the fifth. The Rockies won and the Royals won. Photos, use the hashtag COFanPhoto for an opportunity to have it shown during a ball game. Brought to you by AT&T. 8-9-1 in the fifth inning for Kansas City. Alcides Escobar, their shortstop, then Shields and Norioki.
Very well pitched ball game by Tyler Matzik so far. Just 3 hits given up in a run. 1 walk, and that came back to haunt him and scored on that double by Kane.
Get to some questions here as it is our Toyota Talk inning. These Royals are 36-27 out on the road. The only team with a better mark on the road in the American League's Baltimore. They're 37-26. The only team in baseball with a better mark than Baltimore, the LA Dodgers. Dodgers have won 40 road games. Escobar grounded into a force play, grounded to short his first time up. Takes inside. Question on Corey Dickerson. How many more at bats does Corey need to qualify for the batting title? You have to have 502 to qualify. He's at 345. That's plate appearances, by the way. So with 38 games left, including tonight, he'd have to average 4.13 plate appearances per game to qualify.
So you need to go see Walt and tell him to bat him leadoff. Sure, he's not going to. It's going to be tough to get that.
It would be tough to get that, especially he typically bats 5th, somewhere around there. As the Rockies have a bunch more games like the 2 they played on Sunday, where they scored 10 in each game.
And you got to get hits.
Escobar.
You got to get hits to keep your average up too. All that's going on. You can't have an 0 for 10.
Yeah, that's part of the equation also, right?
You get the at bats, but you got to have some hits to go with.
James Shields will come up. Here's our next question. How do you read the auxiliary scoreboard? What are the numbers to the right of the score? We get that quite a bit, and it's a great question. It's the number of the pitcher that's in the game right now. So with the Mets out in Oakland, for instance, I just happened to catch that. 35 and 26 are the starting pitchers tonight for the respective clubs. And you say, well, how do I know that? If you come to the ballpark and you buy a program, they'll list all the pitchers for all the clubs and their numbers. So you look and you say, oh, okay, that's so-and-so. It's a good hack by James Shields, the California native. Will Myers, who he was traded for to Tampa. Will Myers coming off the DL for the Rays.
Well, he's a great talent, but they needed pitching. I mean, that's what it all boiled down to. They needed Shields. They needed Davis in order to solidify what they were trying to accomplish, and that was win. If they don't win this year, you got some guys going to be a free agent, too. Jeremy Guthrie was traded over to the Kansas City Royals. Has not been able to has not fallen off of his bicycle in the Royal uniform. It's worked out well.
Fortunately not. That's the third strikeout for Matzik. 2 outs. Nori Aoki coming up. Satchel Paige used to pitch to a batter depending on the batter's stance. Is this way of pitching used today?
Yeah, well, I tell you, Will, some guys that are way off of the plate, they'll pitch a certain way. Guys crowd the plate, they pitch a certain way. And I hope that's what you're talking about. Guys that cheat way up in the front of the box trying to get the breaking ball. I know when Bruce Sutter was pitching with a split, they'd get way to the front of the box to try to catch it before it would sink dramatically.
One ball, no strikes on Nori Aoki. Squib out in front of the plate, grabbed by McHenry. Also a ground ball to third. Arenado a few steps inside the bag because of the way Aoki swings the bat. He runs out of the box. See that a fair amount from guys that grew up and played in the Far East. Slap and run, and he shows bunt. 3-0. Aoki's hitting .354 this year against left-handed pitching. That's the best of any left-handed hitter in the American League. Detroit's taking a 5-4 lead on Tampa, much to the disappointment of the Kansas City fans. And that's a 4-pitch walk to Aoki.
2 out walks. Well, you just try to make sure those don't come back to haunt you.
Omar Infante coming up. Will Tulo have enough games and at bats to be in the running for end of season awards? No. Listen, Tulo had a great start to the season in 3 months, but he played 91 games. You're not going to give a guy an MVP who played 91 games. That would be unprecedented. And the Rockies, by the way, made a move. This was literally about 15-20 minutes before first pitch tonight. Matt McBride's been called up from AAA. Johan Flande's been optioned out, and Troy has been transferred to the 60-day DL to make room on the 40-man. So the Rockies, Walt Weiss, have an extra bat at their disposal. And that throw pulled Morneau off the bag. You know, I think, honestly, George, there's a clock in your head as a pitcher, as a fielder. And I think Matzik had a little more time to set his feet, don't you?
Well, here's the thing about it. You're going away as a left-hander. So you feel that he's falling backwards, and when you do that, your arm's going to drop, and when it drops, it's going to sail. And you got a pretty good runner from the right side up at the plate, and so he tried to fire the strike over. A base hit has been awarded to Infante, his second of the ball game.
We'll bring up Salvador Perez. Tulowitzki, by the way, this week dropped out of the official hitting charts. Runner takes off for third. Throw to third's going to get him. Oh, wow.
Nolan immediately pointed at Walt. Check it.
Aoki takes off for third. And I thought McHenry threw him out. Walt's going to come out. I don't know what. The only way you go here is if you know you're going to be safe. And that was a bang play. You got your 3-hole hitter up with 2 outs.
What advantage do you have?
He's out.
He's out.
He's out. There's no question.
Sure is. He's out. I think Laz Diaz may have stayed on the backside of this a little bit too long. He didn't see the spike get caught coming into third base. They will check it. And it is a big play. My thought on this whole deal is you've got speed. You're going to score on a base hit from second anyway, more than likely. But you are in the middle of your lineup in a tie game 1-1.
Yeah, that one made no sense, and I'm glad he tried, though. This manager's challenge is brought to you by Subaru's EyeSight Driver Assist technology, a vigilant safety feature that gives peace of mind to every drive. This thing ought to take 20 seconds to review.
Yeah, you get another look here. The lead foot is going to get beyond the bag. Right there is where he's at. Caught the back end of the spike, and he is out, and the Rockies are headed to the dugout.
Good job, Walt. Good job, Brian Jones and his crew in the video room. 1-1. With the 7th inning stretch to good use. Sign up for First Bank's free checking at eatfirstbank.com. Pitching matchup tonight, James Shields, 4 innings, 7 hits, but the Rockies have scored only once against him. He's gotten the big outs. And Tyler Matzik in 5 innings, given up 4 hits and a run. Got helped out by his catcher, Mike McHenry, and Nori Aoki also on the questionable attempt to steal. Here's Morneau leading things off at the bottom of the 5th. Justin is 0 for 2, riding a 10-game hitting streak. Morneau, Arenado, Dickerson. So Morneau currently, we were talking about Tulowitzki dropping out of the. That didn't work out real well. No. Throw for Perez. We're talking about Tulowitzki dropping out of the official listings of the leaders in the National League. Morneau now leading the NL in hitting. Kadire was the National League batting champion, as you know, last year. No team has had 4 different batting champions in 8 years. The Rockies have a chance for that. Holiday in 07 led the NL. Cargo in 2010 led. Michael Kadire last year. And Morneau is in the top spot as we have gathered tonight at Coors Field on August the 19th. Two from Shields. Fastball 92 is too high. 3-2. Morneau, since coming off the disabled list on July 29th, has hit .367. Shields with the strikeout. That's his 5th. Arenado will come up. Nolan's 1 for 1 and a walk. 8 for his last 17 at the plate. Nolan's hitting .345 in interleague play. This ball hit high in the air to deep left field. Got a chance. Gone. Nolan Arenado with his 13th of the year, and the Rockies take a 2-1 lead. His 50th ribby of the season.
Second hit for Nolan. 3rd time to be on base. He walked and he seconded back. Got a breaking ball out over the plate, but down. He just went down and got it. Drove it into left center field. Only one of those patented low ball hitters. Drove it out into left center field for the home run, his 13th of the year.
2-1 Rockies. Dickerson at the plate. Sliders high.
He's tried to throw the slider 4 or 5 different times, and he has not been able to get on top of it as this front side flies out early.
Increased power in year 2 for Nolan Arenado. Last year he had 10 home runs and 514 plate appearances. This year he's got 13 in 370 plate appearances, 144 less. Dickerson pops this thing up. 3rd base line. Moustakas, 2 outs. Let's take a look at that home run again by Nolan.
Well, look at the pitch right out of the hand of James Shields. You can see it's the breaking ball, and he just goes down and gets it. With that head and that focus and the concentration, picking the ball up all the way and then making it pay for it.
Brandon Barnes and Nolan. Michael McHenry with 2 outs. McHenry a double his last time up. 1 for 2. Good job he's done. Seems like he's doing something big offensively every time he gets a start. He's hit 20 of his 26 starts. An average close to 350, and it'll go up a little bit more. What did Todd Helton tell us on Sunday? Loves watching McHenry hit. Knoxville native. Shoot, since he got called back on June the 4th, a couple months ago now, more than a couple months ago, 2.5 months, he's hitting just under 400.
Definitely likes swinging the bat, particularly here at Coors Field.
Well,
he's done a good job.
I agree with you, George, but his numbers on the road are even better. Out on the road, McHenry is hitting .380. How's that?
It's good. It's really good.
On the ground to short off the bat of Rutledge. That'll end the inning. Rockies take the lead on Nolan Arenado's 13th home run of the year. 2-1 as we go to the 6th inning at Coors Field. Root Sports is brought to you by T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball. By Ram Trucks. The Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year, first ever back-to-back champion. By 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first. And by Blue Bell Ice Cream. In Lodo, the Rockies lead 2-1 on the Arenado home run. In the top of the 6th, it's Salvador Perez at the plate again. He pulls this one foul, an off-speed delivery from Tyler Matzik.
As a manager, you start to look at this lineup and you're saying, all right, I'm catching the middle of the lineup in the 6th. Everything goes planned. More likely I'm going to catch it in the back end of the 8th, or I'm going to catch it at the front end of the 9th again. So you're really wanting to work this. Nice play by Morneau to flip over the first. 11 ground ball outs now for Tyler Matzik. That's a good sign.
Billy Butler will be next with 1 out. We thank you for tweeting in your questions during Toyota Talk last inning. Visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/rootsportsrm, where our game analyst will answer some more questions.
When they say game analyst, does that mean you?
It's not us.
We never get to answer them.
I think it's Huey.
No, I think today isn't it?
Is Corey out there?
Corey Sullivan.
I know Huey's here.
And Jeff Houston, Corey, and of course Jenny.
Cowboys around.
Cowboy was working today. Had the Root Sports shirt on.
Jenny's back. She attended over the weekend her 38th wedding in the last 3 years.
You're about right, but that's not nice.
Well, it's a fact. She's at that age.
Okay. You say
Jenny's getting married in the off season, and a lot of her friends have gotten married the last couple of years. So she's been a bridesmaid, been at a lot of parties, a lot of weddings. 1 ball, 1 strike on Billy Butler. Ground ball to third and a walk.
38, huh? That's a lot.
She has a lot of friends. Popular. Looking at some of the scores, George. David Ortiz, does he age? He
no.
is 29th tonight.
No, he does not age at all.
This ball's lined to deep right field. Blackman is going to have to field it 1 hop off the wall. Butler into second with a double. The tying run at second for Kansas City with Alex Gordon coming up.
Yeah, that's what makes Billy Butler such a good hitter. I mean, the spray chart tells you he's not going to hit that many balls there, but when the pitch is away from him, he didn't try to do too much with this, but it shows the power. Short, quick stroke to the baseball, up and away from him. On the Mike Shaw Super Mo. The ball driven. Oh, what a great look. Good camera work, guys. 1 hops the wall. Charlie Bear hands it off the wall, then the throw into second. And look at Billy Butler and what he's done. 45, 42, and 40. Couldn't spread it out any better.
Remember seeing him at spring training, George, a decade ago. Mike Swanson, longtime PR director of Kansas City, formerly with the Rockies in their infancy. Mike's as good a PR director as there is in the business. And he was right on. He said, this kid can really hit.
He can do that. 285, 13 and 55 for Alex Gordon. 358 with runners in scoring position. That is 3rd in the American League.
It's the 1-0 to Gordon. It's inside 2-0. Matzik has handled him. He got a ground out and a strikeout against Gordon. But now he's got to get him with the tying run at second.
He made him aware of the fastball in, which creates openings on the outer half of the plate. Got him to swing over a slider with a ground ball to second.
Gordon 4 straight games with at least 2 hits. So he's been hot. 2-1. Went 8 for 15 in the series in Minneapolis against the Twins. Swung on and missed, 2-2.
Good slider. Really got on top of this pitch. Drove it at 84 miles an hour to the outer. Look at those fingers. Well up on top of the baseball, creating a very tight rotation to the slider. Got him to chase on a pitch down and away. You just eliminated all of his power there. A couple of options. Fastball outside corner, another slider. Good hard slider away.
3-2 on Gordon. Born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska. Went to the University of Nebraska. Still resides in Lincoln.
Well, if he grew up in Lincoln, he wasn't going to school anywhere else.
We're going to let him get out of town.
I don't think so. Mike Anderson, probably the coach there at that time, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. 3-2. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Great pitch by Matzik.
Second time he has been able to strike out Alex Gordon. And again, this is a pretty good job by Matzik to be able to have confidence in this hard slider, not to get a swing and miss, but to get a called third strike from Tyler Matzik. The ball ended up off the plate, crossed the plate going over, and he gets the strike 3 call from Mark Carlson.
2 outs and Lorenzo Cain at the plate. A strikeout and a double for Cain, so you're not out of the woods yet. 4 punch outs for Tyler Matzik, none bigger than that of Alex Gordon, with Billy Butler standing at second base. 2-1 Colorado in the 6th. Well, now the Rays have caught the Tigers. It's 5-5. On the ground is short. Rutledge has got it. Matzik does a nice job. 1 out double to Butler. Butler stranded at second. Middle of 6. Rockies 2 and the Royals 1.
Coors Field, you probably heard that Corey Dickerson was named the NL Player of the Week, the 4th Rocky to garner that honor this season. I asked some of his teammates if they were surprised that Corey got that honor.
No, I'm not surprised about that. He's been crushing everything for a long time, so he had that one coming. Could have probably got it a bunch of other weeks.
He's a gamer. He goes out there and plays hard every single day. He loves to hit, and that's what he's been doing this year. He does it every year. He's fun to watch. You know, he gives it 100% every day and makes things happen. So I'm glad for him, happy for him.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Man can hit.
Blackmon always funny. Yes, the man can hit. Now he's 0 for 3 tonight, but as if Blackmon's told me in the past, guy hardly ever takes an 0 for a game. So we'll see when he comes up again. Let's go back upstairs, guys.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Chuck Nasty's Stephen Wright, isn't he?
So deadpan today when I asked him about that. I asked him about Kadire, and you were talking about him hitting for the cycle, and I said, were you surprised? He's like, yeah, the cycle's pretty tough to do. And I said, what about Kadire? Well, maybe not, because Kadire is a great hitter. It's funny.
He is bad. DJ LeMahieu at the plate. Chuck Nasty will hit third this inning. 8-9-1. Rockies in the bottom of the 6th, leading James Shields and the Royals 2-1. A cycle in each league now for Michael Kadire. Only 3 guys have produced 3 cycles ever. Is that right, Doug? John Riley in 1890 produced his last one. Bob Musial and Babe Herman. There's 30 guys who've done it twice. In fact, Aaron Hill did it 2 years ago, twice in the same season. He did it within like 6 weeks of one another, if I remember right.
Shields got to bounce off, get to the ball quick. Perfect throw over to Butler at first for the out.
Tyler Matzik will be next.
MLB TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years now. Join the millions of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live in true HD over 400 devices.
Matzik in infield hit his last time up. 1 for 2. Tried to bunt his way on.
That's a good sign for Tyler. He's got a 2-1 lead. Here it is, bottom of the 6th. Nobody's on. Pitch counts down. A lot of maturity. He's put 6 brilliant innings against this Kansas City Royal Ball Club. Just 5 hits given up so far. Part of getting over that 5th inning hump as a pitcher with a lead is getting deeper into games, into that 6th, 7th with a low pitch count.
Oh, 2. Stayed off the changeup. And the 1-2. Another changeup. Hold up. Nope.
Oh, man, I thought he held up. I know it's a pitcher. I get it. But I thought he held up.
I thought he held up too. Well, Michael Kadire available tonight. Hamstring a little tight after running around the ballpark a bunch on Sunday. He became just the 3rd player ever to have a cycle in each league. The other 2, they were pretty good also. Bob Watson did it with the Astros in '77, with Boston in '79. John Olerud did it with the Mets in '97 and with Seattle in his hometown in 2001. Michael's other cycle, 2009, with the Twins.
I thought it was interesting. Walt, before the game, he said when he told, late scratch, Kadire's not going to be in the lineup, we're going to make some change. He said he redlined it yesterday. 10 at bats, a lot of running, the cycle.
Yeah.
Or Sunday, excuse me.
How about that? You roll off the 60-day, not the 60-day, but you roll off the disabled list out for more than 60 days.
Dougie, that's a question a guy asked me last night.
Can you produce a cycle?
First day off, has anybody ever had the cycle on a DL? Coming off the DL, have the cycle the next day. First time back.
I don't know how you'd look that thing up. That's a pop up to center field. That'll end the inning. as Blackman is retired. We'll go to the 7th. The Rockies leading 2-1 in a good pitcher's duel. Lineup for the Royals against Tyler Matzik, who's pitched a wonderful game. Let's check our injury report. It's brought to you by University of Colorado Health. A little update on Rafael Betancourt last night with the Springs. A shutout inning as he moves up from Grand Junction. He had Tommy John surgery last September. So Rafael Betancourt pitching 10 months later, because he's been with the short A team, George, for about a month.
Yeah, through about 13 ball games down there, or 13 innings, I should say. And was ready for the advance. Pitched well last night.
Mike Moustakas takes a fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Moustakas 8 for 17 lifetime against the Rockies. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Breaking ball slowly hit to short. Rutledge makes a fine play.
Don't miss the second annual Brewfest at Coors Field on Saturday, September the 6th, prior to the Rockies Padres game. Enjoy tasting from local breweries from 4 p.m. until the first pitch at Coors Field in the outfield picnic area. Purchase your ticket package to enjoy the festivities at Rockies.com/Brewfest. Against Tyler Matzik tonight, 0 for 7. They're still here. I like it. Mr. White is still here watching the baseball game with the band. Very good game to be watching, too. 2-1. Matzik tonight is retired to leadoff man in every inning. Huge key. Well, he's down in the zone with all the ground ball outs. Adam Ottavino throwing in the Rockies bullpen. Man, was he lights out Sunday. 97-97.
Last
two punch outs and a weak ground ball.
Escobar fouls it off. His last 2 times out, George, he's worked at 96-97. There's Adam right now. One of the many things Matzik has done well in this ball game. He has retired the leadoff man in all 7 innings. 1-2 on Escobar, and he has to dive down and cover that pitch.
You know, fans forget too. I mean, Ottavino, first round draft pick of the St. Louis Cardinals, and it goes back to John Weil and their scouting group of Terry Wetzel at the time went over and saw him with the scout group, pro scouting guys go over there and watch them, and they. All of a sudden he's out of options. They're not sure he's going to make that ball club. You're able to trade and get a hold of him. Boy, what a nice trade that's been, and what a good pitch by Matzik.
95, his 5th punch out. This is his best start in a while.
And last pitch, elevated fastball. When you've been down in the zone all night, you can get up in the zone. And at 95, it only makes it that much more difficult to catch up to that pitch at that level.
2 outs, nobody on. Josh Willingham is going to pinch hit for Shields.
Well, the only thing you're thinking along here with Ned Yost, he's thrown a lot of innings this year, 172 coming in. He's thrown 95 pitches in the ball game. So 172, 178 innings through 27 starts. And with his bullpen in a 2-1 game, not hesitant to go there.
Matzik at 90 pitches as he faces Willingham, who came down from Minnesota a couple of weeks ago, and that is a beautiful slider. It's 0-1. Willingham 8 for 24 in a Royals uniform. He was hitting in the low 200s with Minnesota. And a ground ball toward the middle of the diamond, and it's going to sneak through. Rutledge was swung way over on the pull side.
Yeah, no, you look at him pulling over so far into the hole, difficult to get to this baseball. Missed by a couple of inches getting into the outfield on a Mike Shaw super mode.
Aoki's 0 for 2 and a walk.
A couple of ground outs, part of that 0 for 2.
So 0-2 very quickly.
Yeah, and that's what he's good at too, is that fallout slash swing. It looks like he's falling or running out of the box, and he slashes that ball to left field. That's why Corey Dickerson hugging the left field line. Blackman is shaded into left center. Take a look at this swing. Now watch that lead leg as it comes forward. He's going to rotate out of the box in a hurry and just kind of slash at the baseball.
Breaking ball, and that looked like strike 3. Guess was off the plate a little bit. 1-2. It was. Two and two.
Laz says he didn't go. Well, Laz, if he didn't go, Matzik didn't go. Just saying.
Two outs, 2-1 Colorado, 2-2. Aoki stayed off that slider. It's 3-2, which means Willingham will be moving. And he lost him, and now you have a decision if you're Walt. You have a right-handed batter in Infante coming up. You want Ottavino to go get 4 outs. He's talking to Tommy Runnels, and here he comes.
That's the right move. I mean, you've got a thrower in your bullpen right now, very good. And Adam Ottavino, you've already got 2 outs here. He's got to come in and get 1 out of this inning.
Matzik pitched a heck of a game. Ottavino started to come in. He stopped for a moment. Nope, you're coming in. Signal already went. And nice round of applause, well deserved for Tyler Matzik. He goes 6 2/3. He departs with a 2-1 advantage. Infante coming up. Adam Ottavino is on the hill. Let's check our AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag CO fan photo for a chance to have it seen. It's brought to you by AT&T. And this is a picture from Sunday. And those folks were not alone. There were a whole lot of 17 jerseys amid the nearly 43,000 folks on hand for the retirement of Todd Helton's number 17. Adam Ottavino making his 61st appearance. And lately, George, we've seen a few more fastballs in addition to that great slider.
Yes, we have. And I think you'll see one right here away at 90 plus. More in the middle of the plate down. 92.
Your eyes are bad, dude. What happened?
I was looking at the scoreboard in right field, said 92.
Oh, ours said 97.
I was reading the big one over here, the letters I can read.
Oh, we had 97. He's been sitting on, as you were talking about, George, 96, 97.
That's why I was a little shocked when I saw the first one. That says 97. Ford got it right finally. 97.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fonte, a double, a ground ball to third, and an infield hit. Came into the ball game 7 for his previous 50. Willingham at second's the tying run. There's the slider. That's the great equalizer.
Well, it just changes your whole thought process as a hitter. You can't just set dead red at 97 when you get an 85-mile-an-hour disappearing slider. And the nice part about it, he can back off the velocity of it and drop it down to about 82 and increase the break, and it only becomes harder to hit. 10 2/3 innings for Ottavino in his last 12 appearances, 12 strikeouts.
1-2. Line drive. Fair. Oh, man. That'll tie up the game. The trail runner, Aoki, he gets a green light. Throw to the plate. It's not going to get him. That's how Kansas City has been rolling lately. Tyler Matzik disappointed. A chalk finder down the right field line. A double scoring 2 runs, and now the Royals have a 3-2 lead in the 7th. There was 2 outs and nobody on.
2-0 hitter in your lineup, 55 RBIs. You had speed on the base pass with Aoki at first base. It's a fastball. A little bit elevated, not that bad a pitch, but again at 97. Line shot because of the velocity of the pitch. It didn't have much time to spin into foul territory. It did hit the nook. I thought that bought time for the throw. Charlie, very good throw into the plate. Right on the money.
Salvador Perez rush back.
Shields is happy.
Yeah, he spit the hook, but
boy, what a nice job by Matzik. What a shame.
Yeah, and this is when a team is going like the Royals. It seems like every night they get the big hit. They were 21-5 over their last 26 coming in. They just got an enormous hit from a guy coming into the ball game who had been in an enormous slump.
Well, nice throw by Charlie coming in. You can see that, you know, they might have contested that too if he wouldn't have been called safe on blocking the plate, in the path of the run. Who knows?
Perez fouls it off. 1-2. And now the Rockies are going to have to go to work.
Down the bottom of the 7th inning, you got Stubbs, Morneau, Arenado, and Dickerson. You got 4 pretty good ones to go to work with. But you're going to have to do it against a very, very good baseball team with the bullpen that has carried them. Herrera and Frazier were both warming up.
It'll be Herrera.
And he can run it up to about 100 miles an hour, folks. He's got a great arm.
This ball's well hit to center field. Stubbs can't catch it. And another run scores Infante on the double by Perez. And it's 4-2. Ottavino has come in and given up back-to-back doubles. First 2 runs charged to Matzik. That last one charged to Ottavino.
Well, when I look at this slider, and that's exactly what it is. Good pitch. I mean, it was down. Just too much of the middle of the plate. Stubbs gave chase. He was playing in right center. That's where Perez typically hits the ball. Pulled over his head. And only play it off the wall, but the run scores.
Billy Butler 1 for 2 and a walk.
We talked about the record here of the Kansas City Royals at 69 and 55. They are 56 and 8 when scoring 3 or more runs. That's the bullpen.
2-strike count on Butler. So Matzek is on the short end now, having given up 3 runs in 6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Vino touches 98 with that heater. That was the hacked off fastball. You understand why. It's amazing when a team gets going like the Royals have. It's like they have a new hero every night, and they get the timely hit every night. Fouled off. Morneau's not going to have room.
And the Rockies trying to get Rex Brothers going in a hurry down in the bullpen.
Got him on a slider. In the inning, though, 3 runs come around, all with 2 outs. In fact, there was nobody on base with 2 outs until the single by Willingham. 4-2 Kansas City. Back. Lorenzo Cain had an RBI double in the 4th inning. That tied things up as the ball was not held onto by McHenry. Arenado gave the Rockies a 2-1 lead with his 13th home run of the season. And Tyler Matzek was rolling along. Then he gave up a hit and a walk with 2 outs. And then this double by Omar Infante against Ottavino. Scored 2 runs. And fourth run was added by the Royals on a double by Salvador Perez. That's our Cooney Lexus look back. Luxury has a new address open in Greenwood Village in Colorado Springs. Jared Dyson, they do this defensively with the lead late. Dyson to center field, Lorenzo Cain to right. They pull Aoki off the field. And their seventh inning man is Kelvin Herrera.
Yeah, pretty good too. 52 appearances, 52 innings. It's 1 inning, 1 inning, 1 inning. So you can expect to see Wade Davis in the 8th and then Holland in the 9th. 52 innings pitched, 40 hits, 46 strikeouts, just 21 walks. A whip of 117.
Well, check this out, George. He's got 19 in the third innings without allowing a run. Last run he allowed was on June 27th. It's the second longest active streak in the big leagues. The longest streak is the guy that's going to throw the 8th inning, Wade Davis. He's gone 20 2/3.
Well, they just don't give up a lot of hits, and they strike out a lot of people.
Stubbs looks at that pitch inside at 96. It's 2-0. James Shields goes 6 innings. He's now on the plus side. He gives up 2 runs. The Rockies got 9 hits off him. Couldn't get that one big blow though. He walked 1. He struck out 6. 2-1. Four-2 Kansas City in the 7th. The day after every Rockies win, get 40% off your online order at Papa John's. Enter the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Three and 2. That was 100.
I watched this young man a couple of years ago in the AA ranks throwing hard. Ventura, one of their starters, throws at 100. Well, there's no guesswork here. 2-run lead is coming with a heater and almost gets toast.
So a leadoff walk to Drew. He's been on 3 times tonight. That'll bring up Morneau.
Join the Rockies on Friday, August 22nd for the first annual Star Wars night at Coors Field. Go to therockies.com/Star Wars for tickets and more details.
Perez says, you know what? That's too many pitches out of the zone. We have to chat. Perez is old school. He didn't go into the cone of silence, George. He didn't cover his mouth.
No. They're speaking Spanish.
It's all right.
Everybody's trying to speak in there. Well, no, a lot of people speak Spanish. They're trying to look in there and see things, and he wasn't very friendly about it. Let's go.
Runner going, Morneau fouls it off. So,
and if you're
Stubbs will
wondering,
come back.
Perez, 39 stolen bases. He's caught 16. Stubbs on the year with 15 stolen bases. He's only been caught twice.
Salvador Perez, pretty complete player.
Very complete player. Big guy, 6'4", 230. Back in Kratz is 6'3", 240.
Yeah, they got big catchers.
Fight starts, you go looking around for Escobar. You want to grab a hold of some of these guys, or Infante. Got some big boys on that ball club.
How about the Reds with Jumbo and
Broxton? They can't catch you though.
And Chapman, the boxer, right? 2-1 on Justin. 3-1.
Well, we've seen this before.
Yeah, we just saw it, didn't we?
Throwing 100's nice, but if you don't throw it over the plate, it's not worth much.
Morneau's got a 10-game hitting streak going. Three and 2. It's at 97.
Yeah, Morneau had that cut too. He's trying to tie the ball game up here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He knows what's down in the bullpen for the Kansas City Royals on the 8th and 9th. Not that this is a day at the beach facing Herrera.
Stubbs going, ball 4. And the Rockies have the tie man on now. Nobody out in the 7th. Arenado coming up.
And Dave Elon, the pitching coach, he's going to make a quick visit out to the mound. Talk to this young right-hander. I mean, that's one thing about their club. They go against all the rules that they all got to be 6'5" and weigh 240 to be able to throw hard. Herrera and Ventura, both little guys, 5'11", 185, 190, but they got great arms. Great arms.
Arenado tonight, a single, a walk, and his 13th home run of the year.
That came on a curveball from James Shields back in the 4th inning on a ball down and away. Nolan just went and got it and drove it. Never get tired of that sight. See, when you're throwing this hard, and his fastball's been 97 to 100. I know he's not trying to do this, but it seems that Perez is maybe moving inside, moving out, sit in the middle of the plate, particularly on the first hit. They're back. Rally time. You're right. Where's the rally guy?
Rally guy just checked the truck, and he's not here tonight. Rally guy is not here tonight.
I thought Spilly bought him season tickets. What happened?
I don't know, but we searched the ballpark. Rally guy's not hard to find, and he's not here. But he's watching at home, and he's doing his thing at home. Rest assured. Nobody out. 1-1 pitch. Two-one. Ground ball to third. And this is going to be a double play. 5-3 double play, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Dickerson with Morneau at second. Corey with a 12-game hitting streak, a strikeout, a fly ball to center, and a pop up to third. Broken back roller to second, and Kelvin Herrera works out of it. He walked the first 2 guys. He got a double play ball, and then the harmless ground ball from Dickerson. 4-2 as we go to the 8th. Kansas City leading. 3 in the top of the 7th inning. So we go to the 8th inning. Now we remind you that if you want tacos, you can follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts when the Rockies score more than 7 for the Rockies Taco Special. With George Frazier and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Rockies will send Rex Brothers to the hill in the 8th inning. It'll be appearance number 60 for Rex. Alex Gordon from the left side, then Lorenzo Cain and Mike Moustakas. First pitch strike. Gordon's 0 for 3, struck out twice against Matzik. Again, if you're just joining us, Matzik really pitched a very fine ball game. 6 2/3, 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and he was painted up a little bit by Adam Ottavino. Adam was ahead of Omar Infante, and on a fastball away, Infante lined the ball with 2 on that hit the chalk down the right field line and scored both runners. Give the Royals the lead. And Rex looks good striking out Gordon.
Gordon had a tough night. 3rd strikeout for him tonight.
Lorenzo Cain will be next for Kansas City.
Yeah, there goes the helmet or the bat. Something's getting ready to get broken.
Yeah,
Everybody clear out the tunnel. Leave me alone.
Usually when a guy, George knows this better than anybody, when a guy goes right down the tunnel with his equipment still, something,
not a good experience.
Yeah, something's going to get broken. The Ford Strike Zone is powered by Built Ford Tough Trucks. Built better, built stronger, built Ford Tough. No wonder Ford F-Series are the best-selling trucks 37 years running. DJ right there. Steady as ever, 2 outs. During this 21-5 run by Kansas City, they've averaged 4.6 runs a game, hit 273. That's second best in baseball over the last month. That's something they weren't doing earlier. They weren't scoring runs. Moustakas is 1 for 3.
Yeah, last week the big 3 in Tulsa, talking about obviously Anderson, Gray, and Butler, were under the watchful eye of Bill Gavett and Dan O'Dowd as they made their starts there. And tonight, Tyler Anderson was pitching against Arkansas, who's leading the South right now. 7 innings, 2 hits, a run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Pitching great.
Yeah. Nelson Gonzalez, Ken Roberts got the win. He's 8 and 2 in the 3rd of an inning of work. Cole White picked up save 13. Anderson 96 pitches, 62 of those for strikes. Colorado Springs was off tonight. They travel from Fresno today. Asheville a winner, 6-1. Cincinnati goes to 14-2.
Wow, he's had quite a season. Pulled through the hole, a base hit for Mike Moustakas. You watched him in spring training. Bob Apodaca was raving about him.
Well, Moustakas is a guy that signed in 2007. Todd Frazier was a shortstop that played at Billings at that time. So they've had some guys that are pretty healthy in that draft in 2007 that have contributed to the big league level.
Now Cetus Escobar will come up. He's 0 for 3. Jared Dyson on deck. Mini 2-game set between the Rockies and the Royals. Rockies lost both games at Kauffman Stadium earlier in the season. And that's a base hit. So Dyson up for the first time, came in defensively in center field last inning.
Escobar, first hit of the night, got a slider down and in, cleared that front side, got out front, and cast the bat for a base hit to left field.
Rockies trailing 4-2 in the 8th. You'll see Wade Davis next inning. You have McHenry, Rutledge, and LeMahieu due up.
Nick Massett has started to loosen up down in the Rockies bullpen.
Rex gets a swing and a foul tip on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
#1 draft pick Christian Colon has played very well for Omaha and finally got the call up here, hit over 300 in AAA. Middle infielder, plays first, or excuse me, second or short.
Cal State Fullerton guy, right?
He was an Aflac All-American and an MVP of that Aflac High School All-American game. Played in California when he played at San Diego. Played at San Diego State that day. Wade Davis getting loose for the Royals. Rex misses away and the count runs to 2-1 on a hard slider. Fastball at 94 and down.
3-1 on Dyson.
Well, that's why you got Massey getting loose in a hurry. That if Dyson gets on with 2 outs, you're going to go right on ride with Colon. They still have on their bench Ibanez that they could go to if they needed to.
It's 3-2. Going extra innings down at the Trop, George. 5-5, Detroit and Tampa.
There's some question marks and some holes in that Detroit lineup all of a sudden. And foul that ball off. A Verlander's shoulder situation. There's a few loops in there now that other teams are looking at.
Speaking of that phrase, you got Verlander. You have Max Scherzer won the Cy Young last year. They just added David Price. Last time I checked, he's pretty good, right? Porcello's in there. Do you know who has a lower ERA in terms of starting rotation? The Kansas City Royals.
Kansas City does. Now, the bullpen's been in shambles this year. You know, Joe Nathan was brought there to be the closer, and it didn't work out. They tried to trade for Benoit away from San Diego. Couldn't get that trade made. So they've tried everybody. They brought back now their former closer. They brought him back, and he wasn't any good. I'm trying to think of his name. Pitched with Arizona Diamondbacks. A number of people finally released this year.
Missed. That missed, and now the bases are loaded. This is almost reminiscent of last inning where Matzek got the first 2, and then a couple guys reached. Ottavino came in, and Brothers got the first 2 in this inning. And then a Moustakas single, and then Escobar single, and Dyson left on left, fouls off a slew of pitches and earns a walk.
Well, if you're the pitching coach and you walk out right now, you go, all right, hey Rex, couple of singles and a walk here. You're pitching around. You got a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, nasty slider. The manager has not walked out here to take you out of this game. And Massett's warming up. Now, he may not be loose either. Walt may be buying a little bit of time with Jimmy. But you try to be positive. You say, let's go right at this guy. This is a young kid. He's been down in AAA. He's bounced back and forth a couple of times. Let's go at him and get this guy right now. And a lot of times as a manager, you're trying to get the matchups you want.
Christian Colon at the plate. Didn't play at all in the Minnesota series, but when he's played, he has swung the bat well. He had a 3-hit game last Thursday, his second 3-hit game. That came against Oakland. In 11 games this year, he's slugging .615.
He's always been able to swing the bat, play a little bit of the middle infield. Got a pretty good eye at the plate. I mean, if you're sitting in the on-deck circle and watching the guy just walk, you get a pitch you can drive, particularly in a pitch-hitting role. You're just looking for something you can hit and hit hard. And right now, Rex has just missed up and away, and he's missed up and out. Not getting a good extension out front, down in the bottom half of the strike zone.
2-0, and now it's 3-0 with the bases full.
Well, you take 2, give 2 now. Walt had a tough decision whether to take him out or leave him in. He chose to leave him in. You got Infante, a right-handed hitter, in the on-deck circle. Rex not able to battle back here. He does. He strikes 1. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. A lot of times guys back off of the fastball, and you end up throwing it without the direction you need. Rex stayed on it at 94 and got strike 1. Try to get strike 2 right here. He does. Wow.
Evidently, it was off the plate according to Mark Carlson, and that forces in a run. It's 5-2 Kansas City. Again, all of this with 2 outs, as was the case last inning, and now Walt's going to have to go get Brothers and bring in Massett.
And not much choice here. You have to. Rex has thrown 23 pitches, 12 strikes, 11 balls.
Kansas City leading 5-2. Big hit last inning, a 2-run double coming up. Our T-Mobile game changer, Omar Infante, with runners at first and third, and it's lined down the right field line. And that would score the tying run. Josh Willingham and Nori Aoki the go-ahead run. That play was a game changer. So Nick Massett, relief of Rex Brothers. Fonte 3 hits tonight, and that's a ball. 2-0 on Infante. And that's on the corner. 2-1. Escobar at third, Dyson at second. Christian Colon, who just pinch hit. He's at first base. Down the line, that's a fair ball. That'll score at least 2. Now it goes toward the corner. And they'll stop Colon at third base. A 2-run double for Infante. He's got 4 hits and 4 RBIs tonight. And this game doesn't resemble anything like the first 6.5 innings that we watched, George.
No, nothing, not even close to it. Rex going to get charged with 3 runs here. Well, they've come in here and played the way they were built to play. Get an opportunity. That ball right down the line. Gallant effort by Nolan Arenado trying to dive after this baseball. Just barely got by him. It shows on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mode. It got down to the corner and it was off to the races. You got to make a pitch here now. Another RBI guy. They've sent 7 up to the plate.
Salvador Perez takes a strike. Omar Infante has 3 doubles tonight. That ties his career best. And again, he came into this ball game scuffling offensively. 7 for his previous 50. Last time he had 3 doubles in a game, May 27, 2004.
And if you're thinking about the RBI total with 4 in this ball game, that is not a career high. He had 6 earlier in the year.
He's been a real solid player, one of the premier 2-hole hitters in the game for a long period of time.
April the 17th against Baltimore.
It's amazing what happens, George, when you get good pitching and timely hitting.
Works pretty well, doesn't it? And you have a strong bullpen to hand it off to. You mentioned with this Royals club that once you get to the 6th inning, if they have a lead, buddy, it's Katie bar the door. They have a very good bullpen.
They may go in a different direction now, up 5 runs. We'll see.
You know what I think, like a lot of clubs, Drew, they fight so hard in this ballpark to get a lead. Jim Tracy said that when he was with the Dodgers. He said when he managed here. And I'm going with my guys most of the time if they're rested.
And Ned Yost is familiar with managing here from his days in Milwaukee.
It still appears Wade Davis is the guy warming up in the bullpen.
One, 2, and he gets Perez. Again with 2 outs, the Rockies unravel. There were 3 hits and a pair of walks. 3 runs for the Royals. Are up 7-2. 2. Now that man Omar Infante's had quite a ball game. 4 hits, 4 RBIs, 3 doubles. Time for the CenturyLink link to what's next. Here's the schedule over the next few weeks. Miami will be in over the weekend, and then the Rockies will play 4 in San Francisco, 3 in Arizona. They were just down in Arizona. And then the Giants come a-calling next time the Rockies are home. Also the Padres as we move into September. And Monday the 1st, the way that day is going to work is the suspended game will be played to its conclusion. Back from earlier this year when it was 2-2 in the 6th inning. And then that evening, the regularly scheduled game will be played. Wade Davis, the league's hitting 148 against him. You need to know anything else?
6-2, 54 1/3, 28 hits. He's yet to give up a home run. He has struck out 83 and walked 20. So what you're trying to say here, Drew, he has put on 48 base runners. You listening to me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
5 have scored.
Wow. That's strike 3. That's dirty. 20. That's now 21 innings straight without allowing a run. Josh Rutledge. Rutledge a base hit his first time up, 1 for 3. This actually goes back to last year. Go back to last year, he has an 0.84 ERA over the last year and 2/3.
Is that any good?
Well, I mean,
if you want him on your team, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you're basically talking about
the #1 setup guy in baseball.
#1 setup guy in baseball the last 2 years.
And you know what? He's being utilized in a role that he's obviously done very well in. You say, well, why don't they make him the closer? Well, the closer's pretty good too for them. Holland, 38 of 40 saves, 49 innings, just 34 hits, with 70 strikeouts in 49 innings.
Rutledge fouls off the breaking ball. It's a hard slider with tilt. 1-2. SafeLight, the folks to go see if you have windshield damage. SafeLight.com, 303-287-5000 on the phone. The cutter at 92.
Wade Davis, all the weapons.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's 28. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. Out of Lake Wales, Florida. 3rd round pick at Tampa back in 04. This is the final year, George, of a 4-year, $10.1 million deal.
Somebody got a heck of a deal, didn't they?
Yeah, Detroit scored a run when Tampa walked in a run. It's inside. They walked Cabrera to load the bases. Understandably, didn't want to deal with him, but then they walked the guy behind him. So it's now 6-5 Detroit in the top of the 11th inning at the Trop. 3-2 on Rutledge with 1 out against Wade Davis. And the fastball at 96 gets him. 2 strikeouts for Davis. He's averaging just under 14 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. So Kansas City has options on Wade Davis the next 3 years. Next year it would come at $7 billion. I think the way he's pitched, got to figure that's going to get picked up.
Yep, that's pretty much a done deal.
At the knees, a strike on LeMahieu. DJ's 0 for 3. DJ line to right. Looked like it was going to be a base hit back in the second inning. Aoki laid out coming in and robbed him of a hit. A couple of ground balls since then. Matt McBride just called back to the big leagues today. Battled some injuries earlier this season. When he was up last year, he did a nice job for the Rockies. He's the only guy left standing, George, from the Ubaldo Jimenez deal.
Yes, he is. Joe Gardner, actually, the other guy in that deal, was released by the Rockies spring training, signed by the Cubs, released, went to the Atlantic League, just signed by the Braves. Right-handed reliever. Of course, Pomeranz is in AAA, pitching pretty well for Oakland with Sacramento. After he punched the water cooler or the wall, whatever, he got well. He sent him to AAA. Alex White's got close to 10 ERA in AAA, still recovering from Tommy John, not pitching very well.
That's in Houston's organization. One and two on LeMahieu. Touch 97 there. On one hop to second. Fonte throws out LeMahieu, and we'll go to the ninth inning. 7-2 Royals. Online only at southwest.com. Buy Esurance. Now you can buy homeowners insurance online from Esurance. Welcome to the modern world. Visit esurance.com for a quote. And by Ram Trucks. The Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. Well, this one's gotten away from the Rockies. They were up 2-1 fairly late, but they've given up 6 runs the last 2 innings. And they trail 7-2 here in the 9th inning as we go to center field and welcome back Jenny Kavnar. Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Drew. Thanks so much. Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, we're going to talk about 2 Infante and beyond. Omar Infante 4 for 5 tonight. 3 doubles, making a big difference for the Royals. We'll also talk about the ground ball machine. That's Tyler Matzik. His ground ball to fly ball ratio 13-0. His quality start should have been enough for the Rockies tonight. But right now, they got to focus on something they focused on Sunday. You know what that is. Rally ball.
Rally ball.
Big rally ball. Lots of rally ball.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to interrupt you, so I think I know where you're going.
Where am I going? I mentioned that you were gone over the weekend because you were going to your 38th wedding over the last couple of years.
Is that it?
And George said I was exaggerating.
Then I mentioned, Jenny, for your own wedding, you've been collecting bridesmaids dresses. It might be multicolored, but
That's
hey,
right.
they
I'm going to make them all wear their own bridesmaid dress to my wedding.
That's
I like
right.
that.
Good.
That's a good one.
Perfect.
I think you stole that from a movie plot, George.
No, just right off the top of the head.
Seeing a little bit, Jenny, after the big rally. Brooks Brown will pitch the 9th inning for the Rockies. It'll be the 12th appearance for Brown. He's been back and forth a couple times, George, between Colorado Springs and Denver.
#1 draft pick by the Arizona Diamondbacks out of the University of Georgia. Taking him a while to get here at the big leagues. 29 years old. He has struck out 9 to 13 hits in 11 innings. It's another one of those guys that John Weil, the pro scouting director, obviously follows numbers on guys like Brown that could be 6-year minor league free agents. And it's rewarding for John and the scouting staff when they see a guy like Brooks get to the big leagues. A guy like Kingley, a Rule 5 draft pick that sticks with the team, gets to the big leagues. The Johan Flande gets to the big leagues. Very rewarding for that pro scouting staff and John Weil and his crew to see that happen. Unfortunately, it happened because of a lot of injuries, but they're here.
Ball and a strike on Billy Butler. Butler 1 for 3, walked and scored back in the 4th inning. Ronnie scored in the 4th, tied the game at 1 at that juncture. He's on the ground to short. Rutledge makes the play, and that'll bring up Alex Gordon. Again, if you have auto glass issues, trust SafeLight. SafeLight.com, on the phone at 303-287-5000. Took Gordon a while to get going in his big league career. Moved off third base, his collegiate position. He was almost universally regarded as the top bat in that 05 draft. As it's turned out, I mean, he's done a very good job, but there were a number of other top flight bats. Rockies love the guy they got, Troy Tulowitzki. Gordon, you got to give him a lot of credit. He turned himself, George, into one of the best left fielders in the game.
He has, and again, it's all due to hard work.
Another guy in that draft who was a third baseman in college, an All-American, who became a left fielder, now a right fielder, and Ryan Braun.
Well, they left him at third base that first year, but there was a lot of errors. Ned Yost was his manager that rookie year. Ned's the one that said, you go learn to play left field.
That's pretty much what they did in Kansas City with Alex Gordon. Gordon is fanned 3 times tonight. 1-2 inside, 2-2. Hey, you know what?
I like it.
There's a baseball fan for you. Sliders low, 3-2. The Royals looked like they were going to go to the postseason in '94. That was a great Expo team that lost an opportunity when the season was erased. And the Royals also lost an opportunity that year. It's been 28 seasons since they went to the postseason. Ground ball to second. And Brown retires Gordon. Lorenzo Cain will come next. Royals came into the ball game 69-55. And they're 14 games over 500 right now. You see that graphic, lower third graphic, as we call it in the business. And if they hold on and win tonight, 15 games over 500, and that has not occurred since 1994, that team we were talking about. Big cut from Kane. Kane's a Florida kid. Here's the 1-1. He didn't play organized baseball, George. He's from Madison County, Florida. Didn't play organized baseball until his sophomore year, and then went to Tallahassee Community College and ended up being drafted out of there.
Basketball guy or football?
Not sure, but he came to baseball later on.
Kind of the body tells me he's probably a pretty good two-guard.
Yeah, you'd think, you know, 6'2½", 205 pounds. Well, this guy from your home state has turned into he was a heck of a basketball player and decided to go the baseball route. Had opportunities to go to major colleges like where you went in Norman. Talking about Matt Kemp, of course.
Well, his senior year, I mean, he had held private workouts at times. He had 2 select teams. That was what was crazy about it. He'd hold out a baseball workout, but only to certain teams that he wanted to get drafted by. Very good basketball player, and his focus was on AAU basketball in the summertime.
He made the right decision.
Yeah, I think so. I've never watched him play basketball, but I've watched him play baseball.
He can do that. He's had a big second half, too.
Yes, he has.
He's had a good second half. 2-2 on Lorenzo Cain, 1 for 4. Held up. You could hear Mark Carlson bark it out. 3-2.
I thought it was a call strike 3, but it's not. It's in off the plate. You see it on the forward strike zone.
All 6 runs in the last 2 innings, which completely flipped the tables in this game. Came with 2 outs and nobody on base initially. Brown strikes out Kane. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies trying to do what they did on Sunday. Put together an improbable rally, down 5 runs. Rockies may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Well, it was a good night for a long period of time, and then the Rockies in the 7th and 8th ran into what everybody else has been running into, the Royals' rejuvenated offense. 7-2 Kansas City, bottom of the 9th inning. It will not be Greg Holland with the 5-run lead. It will be Francisco Bueno making his 22nd appearance.
22nd appearance, another earned run average of 245, 25 2/3, 18 strikeouts, 24 hits. Has a tendency to walk some leadoff men, give up some base hits, only 57% first batter efficiency. The opposition, though, hitting just 242 against him. A left-hander that will throw it from all angles.
And Matt McBride, the 9th spot, will mark his return to the big leagues with a pinch hitting appearance here in the 9th. And Matt takes outside. McBride this year hitting .325, 7 home runs, 40 RBIs in the minor leagues. Most of that, not all of it, with Colorado Springs because he did a little rehab with Grand Junction. He got 13 at bats with Grand Junction. He proved he doesn't belong there. He got 8 hits.
Kind of like Kadire.
Yeah.
I need to go to that other league somewhere.
2-1 on Matt McBride out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Right, valuable guy. He can play a lot of positions anywhere in the outfield. Or I should say corner outfield, corner infielder. Has been behind the plate.
29-year-old went to Lehigh. And Matt hits this ball in the air to right center field. Dyson makes the catch, 1 out. I didn't realize, George, I thought last year he was up. He was 2 years ago.
He had the injury last year to the neck.
That's right. It's 2 years ago. So that's Matt's first plate appearance in 2 years in the big leagues. Blackmon's 1 for 3. Also was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. Gets hit again here.
Fastball. So just getting away from him, catching him right on the back of the sleeve, barely, and then it gets Mark Carlson pretty good on the thigh. Yeah, I can hear Perez go to the mound. He goes, all right, look, we don't want that big guy getting loose down there. You're sitting out here with a 7-2 lead. No more free passes. Make them swing the bat and get on base and go right at these guys.
Stubbs had a good game. Single, double, and a walk. He also struck out, so 2 for 3 in that walk. And Drew takes outside. That damage came against right-handed pitching. This year against lefties, Stubbs is hitting a robust .370. Bueno disgusted with that pitch and the baseball, so he throws it back.
2-0 count. So you got 1 out, got a runner on first. Got a 5-run lead. I mean, if you heat up your closer to shut the game down, he comes into the game. You don't warm them up down in the bowl. If you get them up, they're coming in.
Greg Hollins lightly tossing. 2-1.
Now, Bruce Chen was throwing down in the bullpen. He has since shut it down. Ned Yost knows very well what this ballpark could do to you.
He read the paper on Sunday night, too, or Monday morning with the internet Sunday night.
Well, they didn't get in here last night until about 3 o'clock.
Morneau's got a 10-game hitting streak on the line. He's due next. 1 out, 3-1 count on Stubbs. This ball's hit high and deep to right field. This got a chance to get out. It will. 2-run home run, Drew Stubbs, and it's 7-4. And they may force the hand of Ned Yost.
No, they will force it. He's not going to mess around with this at all.
That's 13 home runs now for Stubbs. He has absolutely crushed left-handed pitching this year.
Crushed it. 13 and 38 now for him. Home runs and RBIs. And let's take another look at the pitch on a 3-1 count. He got a ball up out over the plate. And this left-hander, watch this thing sail out of here pretty quick. I mean, this ball wasn't just a Coors Field home run. It was smoked to right field.
They'll let Bueno go left on left with Morneau up there, but trust me, Ned Yost is concerned now as this ball's popped up. Get in the stands. It will. Now we're watching, George. We have a camera that spy camera shows a visiting bullpen. And Greg Holland's a little more serious than he was a couple minutes ago.
Better get it serious. And the bullpen coach turned around and looked at him, and he said, Doug Henry said, "Hey, buddy, guess what? We got to get going here. We got a 3-run ball game right now."
Two strikes on Morneau with 1 out.
The leadoff walk was the key. Bueno walked or hit Charlie Blackmon, I should say. Put him on base at first base, and then Stubbs got a swing, and then it just put it up.
They have the shift on. This is Escobar, 2 outs. And Nolan Arenado will strut to the plate. He hit a home run earlier tonight, also a single and a walk.
Well, I guess Ned Yost's going to let him face him and get a 3-run lead, but man, you never want to put that in jeopardy and have that many men on base where they can tie a score. Dickerson, the lefty's in the on-deck circle. Ned does a good job of listening to his staff on decision making, what to do. Don Wakamatsu, who was the manager with the Seattle Mariners, is his bench coach.
1 strike on Nolan. Did not swing. 1-1. Dickerson, speaking of hitting streaks on the line. He's hitting 12 straight. He's in the on-deck circle hoping for an opportunity because he's 0 for 4 tonight. First things first, Arenado trying to keep the rally alive. Throw ball touched the outside corner. 1-2. Two. Perez throwing down the right field line. Arenado will end up at second base. Rockies still out of life.
5th error on Perez on the season. All 5 have come on throwing the baseball. Base hit, an error. Okay. Well, he still picks up his 5th error, but Nolan's going to pick up a base hit too. And for Nolan, that's 3 hits tonight. And he'll go along with that home run on a walk. Ball's just going to sail, fly, not very balanced, and I'm glad Nolan didn't get hit.
And Ned Yost saying, that's it. I'm going to go to my closer. It's now a save situation. And Bueno's going to walk off. But Greg Holland coming in. Corey Dickerson coming up. Asheville, North Carolina to check in on the Rockies single-A affiliate. The tourists meet the Rockies prospects. There are plenty of them in Asheville. And you'll get to hear more about one of the top teams in all of minor league baseball, the Asheville Tourists. That's this week on Rockies Real Time. Speaking of Asheville, no one's at second base. The guy pitching right now, Greg Holland, the outstanding closer for the Royals, lives in Asheville, North Carolina.
Well, it's a beautiful place.
It's a gorgeous place. He's a product of Western Carolina. He's a 10th round pick, George, that's really made good.
Well, he got a big arm. I mean, you know, it's a matter of harnessing the strikes. Probably a lot of things like that that kept things away from people grabbing a hold of it.
First pitch, high fly ball, left field, and this is going to end it. The catch made by Gordon, and the Royals come from behind, and they've defeated the Rockies tonight 7-4. And the Royals roll on. They've now won 22 of their last 27 games to remain 2 games ahead of Detroit, who won in extra innings tonight down in Tampa. The Royals are now 70-55, the first time they've been 15 above 500 since August the 6th, 1994, more than 20 years ago. They're 3-0 against the Rockies this year as well. Time for our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. Rockies were up 2-1. Then Omar Infante put together 4 RBIs in the last 2 of the last 3 innings to give the Royals not only the lead, but also some padding, which they needed after that Stubbs 2-run home run. So Omar Infante, 4 hits, 4 RBIs, 3 doubles. Our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. James Shields, the winner, he's 12-6. Matzik, the hard luck loser, he's 2-9. Holland does get his 39th save. Stick around. Toyota postgame show is next.